Hello, everyone, and welcome to our halftime interview series. I am your host, Sammy Pavlov, a recent virtual graduate of Smith College and field hockey player. And I am so excited. We are joined today by co-hosts of Strahan, Sara, and Kiki, Sara, Haines. So nice to have you, Sara.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, Sammy, on your graduation.
Oh, thank you, and shout out to the class of 2020. We did it. And Sara, I wanted to thank you. For the kind words that we chatted before this. And I also wanted to congratulate you on your Daytime Emmy nomination. You must be so excited.
I'm amazingly excited because I've had nominations before. This one's special because this was a show we started from nothing. So this one's a badge of honor. Just the nomination is a victory.
Yes, I'm so excited, and we will be following that. We are rooting for you.
Thank you.
I want to ask, what have your days been looking like in quarantine?
They're very kid focused. I have 3 young kids. The oldest is 4.5, then a 2.5, and then a almost 1-year-old. And I love being a mommy, but I always knew having a career was what would fill my tank to be a mommy. So right now I'm doing full tank mommy while trying to work. So this is definitely stretching the boundaries of what I was comfortable with and challenging me in ways I never foresaw. But we are healthy and we are fed and we have, we can put food on the table. So we're doing okay.
Same over here. And that is so good to hear. And because this is a Smith halftime series, I want to know what brought you from Iowa to Northampton, Massachusetts? Why Smith? And what was it like at Smith?
Okay, so I always wanted to go to the Northeast for academics because my mom always said that's the heart of all education and academics. So I only looked in the Northeast. My sisters had both started going to a women's school in Missouri called Stevens. And so I'd never looked at a women's specific school, but I knew I wanted to play volleyball, and I knew it would be, I could never play above Division III. Division III is amazingly competitive, but if I had any chance of seeing the court, I had to be D3. So that took me to small schools. I also knew academically, first and foremost, academically, I would thrive in smaller environments because I'm the kid that needs to raise my hand and have one-on-one attention. I'll be lost in big crowds. Smith checked all those boxes, and I'd come to look at Yale, and I ended up looking at Smith and Mount Holyoke as well. And there was something nostalgic about the fact that basketball had started at Smith. There was this, nothing against Mount Holyoke, because I think we're all sister colleges and it's amazing. But when I went to Mount Holyoke, there was this beauty to the campus and I loved it. And it was small. It checked a lot of boxes, but there wasn't like a hunger there. Something about me has always been competitive. And I've always been, I wanted to feel like I wasn't just playing a D3 sport and at a small women's school. I wanted to feel fierce. And when I came to Smith and met Bonnie May, who I would be playing volleyball for, but also walked around, God, I love her, legend. But I walked around the camp. She is a legend for sure. But I walked around the campus and there was this fervor, there was this energy that made me feel like there was something to aspire to. There was nothing comfortable. It kind of challenged me just visiting it. And something clicked in that visit. And in one visit, I thought this is where I need to come because I'll continue what I know, which is volleyball, and it'll be D3, but it'll be competitive. It'll feel good, and the academics speak for themselves. I knew I'd be elevating, I'd be reaching, and it would be such an accomplishment to be able to finish at Smith. So that made the decision for me.
Yeah, and what was it like studying government and balancing volleyball?
Honestly, I think anyone that's ever been an athlete knows you're at your best when you're balancing, like when you're in season. It always feels so tough when you're doing it. You're like, I never have time. Like I'm always doing this. But then when you're out of season, you realize you were better in season because there's a structure, there's an expectation, there's time management. You don't waste time. Your morale. You get so much energy out of you, mental and physical, with your team, and your team becomes your home. I mean, my Smith memories are my volleyball team. So I think it wasn't as much managing it. It was kind of my magic pill for doing it all was my sport, was volleyball.
And years later, you still talk to Bonnie May. Are you still in contact with your teammates?
Yes, I just saw them. I think it was a year ago. They surprised me on our show for my birthday. And oh, it's funny because people say this all the time as they get older that it goes in a blink of an eye, but I still feel like an athlete. I still feel like I honestly played volleyball up until right before I had kids competitively here in New York. So I really am an athlete, but
You are,
my
Sarah.
team, I am. None of them have aged. They look the same. And you blink your eyes and you're like, has it been that long since we were all our everyday? These were my people. So I do keep in touch. Every connection I have is really, even in high school, it's all through my sports. Sport was it's such a part of my constitution and who I am. So absolutely. And that was the highlight of my Smith career.
And thinking back on your time, was there any favorite memories from volleyball? Any competition
It's
memories?
so funny. There are that we and I'm forgetting the exact memory. Bonnie May would be able to shed light. We were ECAC. We went really far. I don't think maybe we won. I don't remember. But the bigger memories are like the Harold's ice cream trips, and so many of the conversations we had in the bus traveling places. It's funny, it's the more mundane memories that actually stay with me the longer. The high points are what you're aiming for, but it's the whole saying that, it's a journey, not a destination. It was the everyday journey that I remember the most.
That is so sweet. And now I want Harold's ice cream. So
I
when
know, I love
campus,
Harold.
you get some. Um, so taking you after Smith, did you know that you wanted to be a TV host, a journalist? I know you did the NBC Page program, but what was your vision?
So I actually I didn't know what the vision was called, but I was into more comedic acting, not journalism at all. And so I thought, I finished college, I finished Smith, which was my final goal. I was an athlete. I took off the jersey, I graduated, and I said, now rather than playing it safe and always achieving in the most standard ways, I'm going to go try something that my parents are probably going to frown upon. I'm going to head to New York, paid for by me, and I'm going to try my hand at this acting thing. And my dad, I still remember when I told him that, he was slicing a tomato in the middle of Iowa, and he's like, I didn't send you to Smith College to be an actress. Bam, drop that right there. So I went thinking, I want to learn TV. I want to finally try my shot at something that's not safe, that's not conventional. Now, meanwhile, I had tried to apply to Smith grad school because I thought my next plan was to teach. And the teaching program there at Smith is so big. And I thought, oh, I'll come back to what has become familiar if this acting thing doesn't work out. And then I went, having never interned or done anything with, definitely not journalism, but nothing in the business I was going into. I thought if I could join a Page program, that would be my like boot camp of learning TV. And then I'll do acting classes at night. And that was the beginning of the journey. So I always knew I wanted to perform, is the better word. I wasn't a hungry journalist. I'm more of a storyteller that happened into a news division. But I did always know I wanted that adrenaline, and I always compared it to sports. I compared it to my basketball days and my volleyball days. I knew I liked that feeling, and every guidance counselor said, think about what you love doing and get paid for it. It wasn't a linear path to a pro athlete career. It was, if I could get that rush of what I feel like when I'm playing and when I'm running out to a game and find a way to monetize that, that's where I want to be. And that was where I ended up.
Wow. That is,
so it's a little weird to think about, but you'd understand the rush I'm describing.
Yeah, of course I do. And monetize it, replicate it, and monetize it. That's the motto.
Yes.
What challenges you face on your journey? Any big challenges that stick out?
Yeah. Some of the biggest challenges would be, as social media blew up, there's a lot of negativity in general, but especially when you put yourself out, kind of with great power comes great responsibility, whatever Spider-Man said, or Peter Parker. But when you put yourself out there in a big way, you're opening yourself up to a lot of negativity. And I think just being a regular human, that hurts, like when you see negative stuff. So I think it's been learning myself enough on a bigger stage to say whether you're open. It's been a plus to be in contact with fans, but it's been a negative to be trolled. So I think I've kind of created a skill of knowing when I'm in the right headspace to interact with the chance of getting trolled, versus days I don't feel mentally or emotionally strong enough to have that kind of feedback that often ends up being negative. So I'd say social media, for its pluses and its minuses, has been one of the great challenges.
What are some things you do to cope with when you're getting negative information to you on social media, or like when you need time to yourself? Are there certain things that you've been doing or practicing now in quarantine?
Yeah, I'm big on gratitude lists. So everything in my life has always been healed by gratitude. You name it, being a mom, being, a wife, being a friend, being in public. When I stop and ground myself in gratitude at the beginning of a day and say what life's really about, the people that are close to me, the people I love, when I can ground myself in that, I'm almost invincible. But it's a daily challenge because every day you fleet away from those things and you have to redirect. So I would say gratitude, meditation is big for me too.
That's something I need to try. I'll be honest, during my quarantine time, something I should pick up.
You really should. And someone told me a meditation master person said you can do 5 minutes. The moment, it's not how long you meditate, it's how frequently you meditate. So if you got yourself to meditate 5 days every day, you will be flexing the brain muscle that will eventually amount to pretty much a superpower.
And so I'm going to ask you to give some advice maybe to current student athletes at Smith. We're in this uncertain time where everything is so up in the air. Do you have any advice to give to current student athletes?
Well, student athletes, I think, are already ahead of the game because you'll be able to continue to kind of flex that muscle of safety. I always said in a life of unknown, your sport offers you rules and boundaries that make sense to you. Wherever you play volleyball, wherever you play basketball, field hockey, whatever your sport is, it looks the same wherever you go. So if you always have that kind of anchored place, life will continue to scare you and look unknown. But if you continue to go back to your passions, which I often say you find outside of your paychecks, if you continue to ground yourself in that familiarity, you'll be fine. I also think there isn't one way to live. Like life is truly kind of the snowflake adventure of we all look unique and different. I remember being so hungry at your age to find a linear path. We're taught, we matriculate every year, we change. If you major in this, you'll probably do this. If you want to be a lawyer, this is what you do.
Yeah.
There aren't straight lines in life. Those are so limiting, and nobody goes from point A to point B like the person before them did. So I think the biggest thing is always holding on to your inner voice, letting go of the shoulds, letting go of everyone that told you what you should do. Listen to find that woman inside of you that's been speaking and has been in there the whole time, and follow her every step of the way, and keep checking back in, because oftentimes we're also, to succeed, we've been raised in the American Idol model of holding on to dreams. So someday someone can say on TV, oh, when she was 3, she always said she wanted to be a singer, and we want to keep those dreams until we achieve them. But oftentimes we've changed. And if you don't check back in with yourself and allow yourself to redirect, you're going to miss out on things.
Wow. I feel like you're like talking right to me. And I think that's nice words for student athletes, and also, for the recent graduates that are entering the job market. I think it's really great advice, Sarah. I can't thank you enough. I feel like inspired. I feel like I should go play a field hockey game or something.
It gets you through. I would challenge you to stay with field hockey. I don't know how readily available field hockey is everywhere, but for volleyball, I ended up on a gay men's team in New York, and I played competitively for 5 years. I subbed one day for my brother's boyfriend, and I ended up trying out on my own because they said they're straight friendly and that I could try out and they'd place me based on my skill set. And I got placed and didn't leave. I traveled with the team. I was the only girl, and I loved it.
Oh,
One of my proudest. I called my parents from New Orleans when I got MVP for this one tournament, and my mom and dad were like, "Why are you calling us? It's 2 a.m." I was like, "Mom, I won!" Like it was. So you don't have to be paid to be an athlete for the rest of your life, and that is a compass for most of us.
Sarah, thank you so much. From one Smith student athlete to another, I can't thank you enough. And personally, you're a role model to me. I watch your show, I follow you on social media. And I can say from a lot of people in the Smith community, it is so great to have you as an active alum and as a role model to others.
Oh, thank you so much, Sammy. I really appreciate it. Please keep in touch because I want to hear where you end up.
Oh, I definitely will. And that's about all the time we have. Again, I hope you and your family, stay safe and be well. take your time, meditate. And could you join us in a little Go Smith cheer, and then we'll get back to the basketball game?
Absolutely. Do I just say Go Smith?
We'll do a virtual hands in and say Go Smith. Ready? 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Go Smith! That was a little impromptu. I didn't plan that, but a good cheer,
I like it.
I wish we could have done it in person. Sarah, thank you so much. Really, it has been great.
Thank you, Sammy. I really appreciate it.